This is our snap-in technology, which you would normally recognize by the green pushers, as opposed to push-in technology where our standard color is orange. So with push-in technology, that was the first technology that introduced tool-free wiring, but you had to have a ferrule on that wire in order to push it through past that spring and terminate the wire. And that's kind of what snap-in now solves. So especially for someone that comes from a screw terminal block or from a tension clamp terminal block that's not used to ferruling and doesn't want to change that either, they can now use just a stranded wire with the snap-in technology. So no ferrule required. And then simply just add it into the termination point right here, and you hear a little click, and you can also see that pusher that raises, comes up, jumps up, and gives you a haptic feel as well. When you touch over it, you know exactly. So you got 3 ways of feedback from the terminal block that tells you that this wire is terminated safely. There's a mousetrap mechanism in here that is preloaded upon delivery, so it's ready to be wired. Once you put all your terminal blocks on your DIN rail, it's ready to go, and you do click, 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 and you can just wire up these panels. Super simple with one hand, no tools required. What you saw over there is what we've had released for the past 2 years or so, and now we're also adding disconnect blocks. So this disconnect is a knife blade disconnect. When you open it, there is no current flowing from here to there anymore, and you can do your testing, troubleshooting. So that's a disconnect version. And then we also have fused versions. So these are fuse terminal blocks. Little 5x20 fuse goes in here in the door. You close it, and you have your circuit protected with a fuse block. And then the next releases are going to be bigger cross sections. So these are a side entry for those bigger, very sturdy wires. So it's important to have side entry for that, because you would have a big bending radius coming out of the block if it were on the top. And so these now are going to go up all the way to 4 gauge. So that's a very big wire range. So right now we go all the way down to 22 on those small ones, 22 gauge wires, very small wires, and then all the way up to 4 gauge. This robot is now demonstrating 2 things. One is automated assembly. Depending on the gripper it has, it can take parts out of those boxes back there and then place them on the DIN rail. So that's the automated assembly part. But then it also does automated wiring with the snap-in technology. So it's already wired up to wires over there. Now it's getting another wire from the cutter. And so now it's got some sensors right here where it measures the length and it measures the bending radius of the wire, because next it's going to go over to the stripper and crimper, and it's going to have to fit into this hole. So it's got to make sure that it's straight. So now this wire is being stripped, prepared for termination. Now it's going to do the same thing on the other end. And again, measuring length and bending radius. And if it's a little bent, then it will just strap it in here and straighten out the wire accordingly. So it looks like it determined that it's straight enough. And now it's stripping the other end. And so now it should terminate it. And that's also snap-in technology right there. Mm-hmm. And now it's taking the other end and putting it in one of the terminal blocks right here. Here we go. And terminate it. So yeah, snap-in is the only technology that makes automated wiring possible because of that 0 insertion force it takes. If you would try to do that with any other ones, well, one, you need tools. And even for push-in, it just requires a certain force to get that wire in. And so snap-in is really the only technology that allows that. And that's usually what we call ready to robot. That means the terminal block has like flat sides. That means a gripper can take the part out of a magazine and place it on the rail, and then the 0 insertion force for the automated wiring part. So it's definitely ready for the future.